On this Monday morning here in Evansville, we've seen crews out on the streets working very hard the overnight hours to manage those road conditions for drivers.
INDOT out in full force this morning. Joining us right now to talk about all of this, Jason Tiller with INDOT Southwest, I do believe. Is that right, Jason?
It is.
All right. Hey, how are you guys doing out there? What are you hearing from your crews that are out on our area roadways? And really right now we're kind of getting a lull. This might help your guys as they are out there. But, ooh, this afternoon we're in for it.
Absolutely, and it does help a little bit. We didn't get quite as much as we expected overnight. I still think we got a couple of inches, to be quite honest with you, the break right now in the weather does help some. It helps us get those roads cleared off a little bit better, but we are looking forward to the crazy weather we're expected to have tonight, the big event, so to speak, where it dumps the most on us. So we're very fortunate that we are getting this little break.
Now, some of the most traveled roads here in the tri-state, at least Evansville, Vanderbilt County, I-69, I-64, and the Lloyd Expressway. What are some of the hassles you've experienced or your crews have experienced trying to clear these stretches of roads so far this morning?
Well, the most difficult thing on high-volume roads like I-64 or the Lloyd Expressway is just people trying to get to work. And we understand snow is an inconvenience for every single one of us, and we're all trying to make it work. We're all trying to get to our jobs. You know, it's a stressful situation for everyone involved, but the most important thing you can remember when you encounter a snowplow is that the safest place for you to be is behind it, especially during a driving snowstorm or whiteout conditions. So I'd say that it's a little bit frustrating when people don't give the plows the room to work, because it creates a potentially dangerous situation for everyone involved. If the plow needs to make a judicious move or they don't see you, it could be disaster for anyone who's involved in that situation.
You know, we do expect things to deteriorate as the day goes on. We are expecting this second round, if you will, of snow to come about noon. I believe our meteorologists are forecasting. Is this going to be a snow, I mean, with what is forecasted, where it's going to be falling faster than road crews can kind of keep up with it?
Most likely, and that is usually the case whenever we have any type of snow event. We have typically in Evansville area about 30 drivers. We have 100 plus drivers district-wide, and that's at a full call-out. And their routes take about 2 to 3 hours to complete. And so anytime you've got a driving snowstorm, you know, they can pass over it with the plow and treat it with salt. But when push comes to shove, you're in a driving snowstorm, and if it takes them 2 or 3 hours to get back to that spot, think about how much snow is going to fall. Yes, treatment helps and plowing helps, but ultimately conditions are going to deteriorate in the middle of a snowstorm, and there's really no way to avoid that unless you're treating a very small area. And INDOT doesn't have any small areas that we're treating, so it's very important to remember that during any type of event, until it ends, you can expect road conditions to deteriorate a little bit, and just remember to slow down for those conditions. I know it's inconvenient. I know it's something that everyone seems to think, why is INDOT out here not plowing these roads? But I can assure you they're out there working very, very hard, and it's very important to remember to slow down for those conditions.
And a lot of your drivers are not working just a normal 8-hour shift today. They're going to be doing some overtime. They're going to be tired, and they don't need the frustrations of other motorists out there. When it comes to the salt, the brine that you use, when temperatures are this low, it almost nullifies those practices, and the snow plows themselves moving the snow out of the way is the only way you're going to really achieve any progress.
That's actually an excellent point. Salt is less effective at lower temperatures. When you get down into 10 degrees, 20 degrees, that range, salt starts to lose a little bit of its effectiveness. And so what we do in that situation, we actually use a chemical called beet heat, which actually has nothing to do with beets, but I think it derives its name from way back in the day when they did use beet juice on the roadways. But the beet heat is actually, think of it as a booster for the salt. It'll actually give it that little extra boost that it needs so that it can work in lower temperatures. So we do have that in our hip pocket if we need it. But you're very right. Once the temperatures get down below that 20 to 10 degree range, pushing snow out of the way is very, very much the most effective method we have for removing stuff from the roadways. And it can be a challenge sometimes whenever we have ice instead of snow. Luckily in this event, consistent. I think we have more snow than we do ice, and so we're actually in pretty good shape when it comes to that.
A flip-flop from last week, at least. All right, Jason Tiller with INDOT Southwest. Of course, we are so thankful for all of the men and women out with your crews trying to keep our roads clear and safe for everybody. And of course, everybody needs to slow down. We want to get from point A to point B safely. That is the main goal here.
Thanks again,
Absolutely.
Jason. We appreciate your help, buddy.
Thank you very much.
All right, the time now is 7:17.